Welcome to Lock in Your Success. We are the company that creates strategies to build wealth. This webinar reviews real-time hypothetical trades each week while analyzing market conditions with adjustments. Questions are always welcomed, asked, and answered. Before we get started, we need to go over our disclosures. Locking Your Success LLC is not a broker-dealer or financial advisor. This presentation is for educational purposes only. This information is not an offer to buy, sell, or hold securities. You shall be fully responsible for any investment decision you make, and such decisions will be based solely on your evaluation of your financial circumstances, investment objectives, risk tolerance, and liquidity needs. Please visit cboe.com to find and review the options risk disclaimer prior to placing any trades. Also, please note that these are real-time but hypothetical computer-simulated trades and results. The trades are believed to be as accurately presented as possible, however, they are not guaranteed as to accuracy and therefore live results may vary. No representation is being made that any portfolio will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. Whew! Now that that's over, let's get to it. Here is your host, John Locke.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Options Trading for Income Weekly Update for October 26th, 2015. If you're watching this on YouTube, listening via podcast, come on over to our website, lockinyoursuccess.com. You can join our mailing list, get your free report, 7 Secrets to Becoming a Successful Trader. Sign up for this free weekly webinar. Also, check out our trading programs. We have the super simple spread trades, the M3, the Bearish Butterfly, the Rock, the M21, and of course, APM squared. In this update, we are going to be covering 4 of the trades from the various systems that we sell. They are real-time trades, however, they are computer simulated. The trades are going to be the Bearish Butterfly, the M3, a Rock trade, and one of the trades from the SSS trading system, the V Condor. Special announcements for this week. We are having our Successful Trader of the Month webinar with Jaroslav tomorrow on Tuesday, 10/27 at 9 a.m. Eastern Daytime. If you would like to sign up for that, you just come on over here to our website within the community, because this is a communities only webinar. And if you see the scrolling thing on the top in the Welcome Traders section, you just come over here and you can just scroll over to not the Hawaii Challenge, but the Successful Trader of the Month Options webinar, and you can go ahead and register right here. And that'll take you through the process so that you're registered if you'd like to attend that meeting live. It will be recorded and posted for our members. It will eventually be available to the public, but it may be a couple of weeks before that happens. So that's how to get there. For other announcements here, we have Rocktoberfest is coming to an end, October 31st at midnight Pacific time. We have our special deals. Obviously, SMB's running a special on the Rock and some combination programs. If you're buying the Rock program with some of the other programs, they have that. If you're interested in that, then make sure you visit our website and you can find a link to that there. Also, Block Options community is still coming. It's still going strong. We will be making some membership levels and organizational changes within that. We've had a lot of feedback from members, and like I said, we're just trying to make it better. And so lots of good things coming there as well. And again, if you're interested in that, you just go to our website and you can sign up there. Of course, we also have the Lock Up Hawaii Challenge, which please send in your results for that as well. Otherwise, you'll be taken off the list if you don't do that. And hopefully you had a good October. All right, so that is pretty much what we have for announcements. And unless Sherry jumps in and tells me there's something else we need to mention, then we will move forward here. So, looking at the markets. Last week, I was expecting the Russell to sell off, which did happen the first couple of days. We got a drop down, but the bulls came right in and bought us right back up and made it essentially a flat week for the Russell. That said, in the meantime, the rest of the market had a fairly strong rally. We had the SPX was up over 40 points, the Dow was up over 400 points, and the NDX up almost 200 points. So that's a pretty impressive for those indices for a week. Very bullish week in that. Right now, if we look at The NDX, we are very close to post-crash highs. We're also not that far from all-time highs. The Dow is pushing up against what should be a fairly significant resistance level right here, which is essentially the lower half of this consolidation. We have, and of course, the NDX reaching post-crash highs should serve as some sort of a resistance level. We have the SPX actually broken into this range. In the Russell, we're still struggling here to just break the highs of the last several weeks. So essentially what we have is NDX coming into a resistance level, the Dow at a resistance level, the Russell more or less at a shorter term resistance level, and the SPX broken out. So normally I'm going to say the preponderance of the evidence that this is that we're going to retrace off those resistance levels and come down for the week once again. The fly in the ointment is the SPX. And if that had been any other index, if that had been the Russell that broke out or the Dow that broke out or the NDX that broke out, I would take it less seriously, but I do take a breakout in the SPX very seriously. It tends to be the most technically correct index, and it also tends to be the more powerful index as far as direction. So like I said, the evidence is still that the market is likely to retrace this week. However, the SPX makes me much less confident of that, just because it's mainly 3-on-1. We may get a little bit of an up move, and then we're likely to come down for the week. So I'm still pushing towards another down week, even though we were wrong last week. I think it's a little bit more likely we're coming down this week. So those are my thoughts on that. All right, I got a comment that a link is broken to register. So Sherry, if you can look at that, that would be appreciated. And we'll check that out. If that link is broken, we will have that up to register for the webinar. If you're a community member, you're not automatically registered for it, so you'd want to go in and register that and put the process through. It's a matter of getting you into GoToMeeting. Do I think the Russell's a leading indicator as compared to the other three indices? Yeah, it's often considered by a lot of people that the Russell does tend to be a leading indicator for the market, the small caps. So if you look at it from that context, then the Russell being weak is an indication that the market again is going to come down. So it often is. Right now, essentially the NDX is leading the charge up. So we'll see we'll see how that goes. All right, so those are my thoughts on the market anyway. Down for the week. You know, my longer term perspective for the end of the year is that the market's going to be up into the end of the year. I just happen to think it's likely to be down for the week. All right, so moving forward into what we have for positions. I'm going to drag this up here. So last week, there were actually not a whole lot of adjustments going on. If you look prior, there were no adjustments on the November M3 until Friday. So as of Friday afternoon, this is what we look like here. We are we have 12 butterflies because on entry we had volatility that was a little bit high. It allowed us to buy more butterflies versus our calls. So we have 12 butterflies. We have one call on at 9:50. We are experiencing a delta issue here on our analyzed graph, and we're outside the tent. We're over 100 delta, so we come in here and just make a minor adjustment, and that adjustment is simply doing 6, 11, 20, 11, 30 vertical spreads brings us at about -75, which is pretty much where we want to sit at what I would call the edge of the tent. So really just a minimal adjustment there just to shave off a little bit of delta. Right now this position is looking really, really good. Even if we break to the upside, then this is still going to look like a good trade, although we would rather have this settle back a little bit. So that is the M3 trade, which is to be expected. Not a lot of market movements because the market really didn't move. If we look at our next trade, which is the Bearish Butterfly, The Bearish Butterfly actually had no adjustments last week. We didn't, again, we had some down move. We didn't have any breakouts to new highs. If I come here and hit the November Bearish Butterfly, as of Friday, we're looking at this position here. Currently, this is something I've commented on a couple times in the community. This is a situation where we're 3/3 scaled in. We're sitting, fairly high negative delta here. We are, we have a roll point at 1162, but we're not hitting any delta theta guidelines to roll this. We're not hitting any maximum delta guidelines. We're not hitting any price trigger points. We're just kind of sitting here doing nothing, waiting out the market, see which way it's going to go. As we do this, time's marching on. We're 28 days to expiration. One of the things that we're going to be getting into on Friday is we're going to be starting to enter expiration guidelines, at which case I'm going to start to cut down this delta number. And assuming the market didn't move at all from today, I'd be fine on Friday at this particular level. But assuming the market doesn't move once again, the delta is going to increase over time. So we'll probably be doing Friday, if we get the same thing and stay in this really tight range, is one of three things. If we're down even slightly from where we are now from a price standpoint, we are going to be at our $5,000 reduced profit target 21 days to expiration, and we'll be pulling the trade off. If the market goes up a little bit, we're going to end up rolling this 1100 to 1160. And if it settles there, we'll likely hit our $5,000 number by the end of the week anyway, and we'll probably be okay and take it off the reduced profit target. The next thing that might happen is the market might actually come down. And if it actually comes down any significant amount, we actually have a fairly good likelihood of hitting our high profit target. Even a move of 20 points down is going to put us 15,000, 30% gain, and we will be out. And the third thing that might happen, of course, is the market takes off, in which case we're just going to follow the regular guidelines. So we're going to be, no matter what happens, we're going to be doing something to this for an adjustment by the end of the week, whether it's exiting, rolling, or just reducing the lower size. So kind of an interesting situation here. And like I said, the market's just been hanging. Good if you're in a condor on top of the position for sure. But like I said, we're just kind of hanging at the edge of our position here. But that is a November Bearish Butterfly. As far as entries, we had a rock entry on Wednesday. So let me go back to Wednesday. We did our normal entry test, and it put us in an M3 trade once again. We're getting closer to being in a normal rock position as far as entries go, because the volatility is coming down, but it's still a little bit too high to meet our rock position entry guidelines. So we entered this as an M3. I put on 10 1120 butterflies with 7 1120 1130 verticals, put us a relatively flat delta, and we put one call on here at 1040. Gives us a position that looks like this. So fairly nice looking position. If we stay stalled, this will actually gain some value, being 30 days to expiration fairly well. And of course, if we take off, then we'll very likely going into a rock position if the market exceeds 1180. If it doesn't, we probably will not. But that's what that trade looks like at this point. We have, for November, so Bearish Butterfly, M3. We talked about Rock V Condor, right? This position, again, the market's been going nowhere, and the V part of the V Condor is seriously affecting our profitability at this point. Very unusual, particularly 2 months in a row, but it does happen. The flip side of that is it's also 30 days to expiration. I'm sorry, about 28 or 22 days to expiration. So 22 days is a lot of time. And if this thing travels up, then this could be very profitable for the month. But this is what we look like here. And those are our November trades. As far as December, which I have a question, did I enter the December Bearish Butterfly? Yes. December here, we had the first trade we entered in December was a V Condor, which was entered on Monday. So if we look back here to Monday, we have 1250 short strikes. So I sold 15 condors here. They're, if you want to do the numbers, they're 1010, 1040, 1250, 1280 condors. We did one straddle at 1150, gives us a position that looks just like this. And then as of Friday, of course, the market was up a little bit. So if we shoot to Friday, because we have to go there anyway, as soon as the computer catches up, we're having a little bit of slowness this morning. We're essentially sitting in this position here, down about $40, no big deal. Nice looking V trade right here. So that is a V trade. We have, for other entries, on Friday we had the Bearish Butterfly entry, we had the M3 entry. So if we take a look at where I entered the M3 trade, oh, sorry, there's the T-log for the V Condor. If I take a look where we entered the M3 trade, it is right here. Again, the volatility slightly elevated, and therefore we were able to enter 12 butterflies. And I did that at the 1130 strike level, which at this case was 32 points behind the market. I just did that to have a nice flat T+0 line. We did one 1,000 call in the Russell, and this gives us a nice position here with a nice flat T+0 line. Obviously no adjustments from there. There is our entry position, which is a beautiful looking trade there. And last but not least is our December Bearish Butterfly, which was right here. This was actually, I entered this one a little bit closer to the market, 1140, because I'm not really concerned with the downside at this point. And that gives us a position that looks like this. We had a price point on entry of approximately 1010, so you can see the butterflies are getting a little bit more expensive. Our delta is about almost -8 per butterfly, so our delta is getting a little higher. We have a little bit more upside risk as the price of the butterflies increase on entry, but still a very good trade, especially since how far the market's been up in the last couple of weeks. So this is obviously would have been really nice to enter this early in the morning. There were some fantastic execution opportunities early in the morning with a gap up on Friday. If you waited till the end of the day, it was a little harder to get in, but certainly midday was not a good time to enter one of these because the market was down midday, but end of the day wasn't bad. Morning was really good to get in one of these. So that is, those are all the positions that we have. I'm having a couple of questions here. What are my options? What are my opinions regarding the new RUI, RLG, and RLV? I have not actually taken a good look at those, so I don't have an opinion either way, but thank you for bringing that to my attention. I will take a look at them and maybe have some kind of comment on that at another time. But right now, I don't have any opinion either way regarding what they are, because I don't even know what their price levels are because I haven't looked at them. So let's see. It looks like, all right, so Sherry has just mentioned it's the webinar link for Successful Options Trader of the Month, which again is right here, has been corrected. So that's working now. So come on in here, register, and enjoy that. And again, if you haven't yet considered joining the community, please do so. We're having a special till the end of this month, only $1 for your first month. So nice and easy to do that. Until then, since we're all up to, okay, great. So the link's working great. I got a couple comments on that. So super. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining me today. And since we're all out of questions, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, everybody.